Welcome to Asia Society Texas Center. My name is Stephanie Todd Wong, and I'm our Director of Performing Arts and Culture. And on behalf of our board and staff, I'd like to welcome you to the opening celebration for JLF Houston. Welcome. So happy to see you. Asia Society is a global organization. We have 14 offices around the world, all working to build multicultural bridges of understanding between Asia and the West. Here in Houston, we do that through the performing arts, education and outreach, business and policy programs, as well as exhibitions. We find this to be a wonderful place and hope that you do too, and will come back and visit us again. And our mission in particular of building multicultural bridges of understanding, I can't think of a better way for us to accomplish this than by hosting an event as wonderful and as exciting as JLF Houston. Our world is in great need of empathy and better understanding of our local and global neighbors. And programs such as this one, where we sit with one another to listen and learn from each other, are a central component to becoming more curious and understanding our world from different perspectives. So I'm thrilled that you've all agreed to join us in this journey for the next 2 days, and I do hope you enjoy the ongoing conversation. To get us officially started, I'd like to welcome the multi-talented poet, Daniela Arnold, up to our stage. She's going to share with us some amazing poetry.
Hello, my name is Daniela Arnold. Thank you for having me here. Today I'm going to read 2 poems that I've written recently. My first poem is called Disappointment. A ball of hope run over, leaving nothing to hold on to. You stomp away, slam your door, and cry into your pillow. Your tears make a river, strong enough to carry an island, the island of forgiveness. You are swimming toward it as fast as you can, but you are not moving. You know you will never get there, and eventually, somehow, you drown in your tears and close your eyes till tomorrow. My next poem is called Thoughts and Prayers. This is the world that we live in. Gunshots fire, children cry, and thoughts and prayers float above our heads. The thought is scary. Our bodies are weak, but our hearts stay strong and hopeful. Always remember that God made bad to give purpose to the good. He made war for peace to fight back, and he made you to make a difference. Thank you.
Isn't she inspiring? Yes, a little glimpse into our future, I hope. Daniela, we'd like to say thank you.
His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to the United States, Harsh Shringla, the Consul General of India, Houston, Anupam Ray, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Namita Gokhale, who's unfortunately not able to join us here in Houston this year, William Dalrymple and all my colleagues at Teamwork, Suraj, Kritika, Sharupa, and Preeta, welcome you all to the second edition of JLF at Houston. JLF Houston really came about due to the energies of one person, which is Consul General Dr. Ray. Absolutely. And I keep saying there's one thing, one legacy that he will leave behind that we're all very proud of is this particular one of bullying us to come here to Houston and set up shop. Some of you know the story. 3 years ago, he came with then Ambassador Navteej Sarna to Boulder, Colorado. And he said to me, he said, you know, what you're doing here, I really believe that Houston should be the place that you should establish JLF. I wasn't particularly convinced because the minute anybody says Houston, you're going, Houston? Oh, okay. Why would we be going there? But as it happened, we had always Chitra, who had been coming to the main festival, and Chitra, as you know, herself is an incredible ball of energy. And Chitra had been saying for a while, please come here, and the university will support you. And then we found Inprint, Rich and Krupa, who've been one of the most magnificent benefactors to us here in the city. And much of Inprint's work, I think all of you have been supporting. And if you haven't, please do support their work, because they really bring literature to the fore here in Houston. So why do we take JLF from place to place, and why have we set up JLF? You know, for us, in this very difficult world where hatred seems to be the dominant narrative, the one way to be able to push back is through literature and through words, and through what Daniela, in fact, brought to us today. Daniela, what you said really epitomizes everything that the festival stands for. We've had many young people like you come to the Jaipur Literature Festival. This year, our youngest writer was 9 years of age, who had been inspired by coming to Jaipur for 5 years and had written his first book. Last year, our youngest was 11 and our oldest was 92. Absolutely, she was a wonderful teacher who wrote a ballad about how she was sexually raped and molested, and then suffered marital rape as well. And at 92 to write something like that was quite incredible. For us, every time we set down our roots in a city, it's not just about bringing a sense of Jaipur here. It's also to discover the writing in this region. Here in Houston, we've discovered writing around the environment, around energy, around medicine. And last year, for those of you who attended the session, we brought people from both Texas Medical as well as the energy people. And we said, hey guys, both of you do research in pumps and pipes, primarily whether it's the heart or whether it's oil and gas. So why don't you just sit together in one room and share it? And that's really what we want to do, get people together. And as Stephanie said, we want people to listen. This miasma of noise that sort of surrounds us through WhatsApp, through the news every day, that streams into our subconsciousness, what we've forgotten to do is just sit back, perhaps tarry a while, and take in the written word. Because the written word is what we're able to make sense of, figure out what our history is, what the past is, make sense of perhaps what's happening right now in our present, and envision a future for people like Danielle. On behalf of all of us, really like to take this opportunity to thank Asia Society, our co-hosts in this venture. Stephanie, you and your colleagues have been amazing in welcoming us here to Houston. Our wonderful advisors, starting with Chitra. Chitra, you and Murthy have really, the hundreds of emails that you've been sending out and getting the word out there. And the nicest thing I like about Chitra is at the end of every mail she says, and if you really want them there, please support them, write a check. So thank you very much for making that happen. To Hari Agarwal, who, I don't know whether Hari is still here. I saw him earlier. Hari, thank you for supporting us. To Durga and Sushila Agarwal, who in many ways are our second family. I think Shrish and Anu are here. Anu was here. Anu seems to have disappeared again. Thank you both. To Jitain. Jitain, are you here? Jitain, thank you so much. This year, Jitain said, last year's celebration exceeded his expectation and instantly increased his support from $10,000 to $40,000. Much appreciated and helping us stay here, Jitain. To Krupa, our lovely Krupa, who helps us with all of our marketing and our programming ideas, with Rich Levy from Inprint, who are our key collaborators. To Dr. Marie Goradia, who's not here with us today, Medha and Shashank Karve, to Shazma and Arshad. I saw Shazma earlier today and I saw Arshad. Thank you so much for all the generosity of your spirit and soul, for welcoming us into your homes and your hearts in the way that you've done. You both are special, and I think you know that, and all of us know that in Houston. Thank you so much. I've already said Rich, and of course Stephanie, and all our sponsors and partners. Thank you for bringing us back here to Houston. We're committed to come back here year after year. We hope you will help us spread the word, fill up the houses, ensure that people come in large numbers and help us grow this particular platform to incorporate not just what we represent here in Houston, but perhaps Texas. Thank you for the folks who've driven out from Austin, Texas, and from Dallas who are with us today. I hope you go back, spread the word, and bring more people next year. Without much ado, I'm now going to invite His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to the United States, to say a few words on this occasion. Ambassador and I go back a long time. We were in university together. And for many of you who know his work, he really is quite an incredible being in the Ministry of External Affairs. He's done a number of postings across the world, and we wish him all the best in his future. And I'm sure all of you will continue to be connected with him, even when he finishes his posting here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Ambassador of India to the United States.
Namaste and good evening. Let me start by saying how delighted I am to be here at the inauguration of the Jaipur Literature Festival. I would like to congratulate the city of Houston for bringing here what is easily and by far one of the most popular, largest literary events of its kind in the world. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all those who have made this possible. The Asia Society, the University of Houston, the sponsors. I know that Jitenji was mentioned. There are many other sponsors. And of course, all those who have provided the inspiration behind this. And our Consul General, Dr. Anupam Ray, and our consulate staff, I think, have been instrumental in bringing the JLF here, as Sanjoy pointed out. And as I stand here, I feel a sense of deja vu, not just because Sanjoy and I were in college together, but also because we have been, in many senses, partners in many of the events that he has organized in different parts of the world, starting with South Africa, where we did an incredible shared histories program, bringing together a country that had just come out of apartheid rule and reconnecting it with India. We had a very large proportion of persons of Indian origin, but had been for many decades away from the country of their origin because of the strict separation between that apartheid really brought upon that country. And so it was a great pleasure to have not just a literary festival in the form of Words on Water, as we called it, but also a number of other events which were groundbreaking at that time. I remember a wonderful concert involving Dr. L. Subramaniam with the Durban Philharmonic Orchestra, fusion concert, which was a phenomenal success. In Bangkok, Thailand, we had an incredible event also, which was attended by none other than the Princess Mahachakri Sirindon of Thailand, in which she presided over a wonderful literary event. And I think, and as well as in Bangladesh, where I was last, where we had also a small literary event that involved Sanjoy's presence. As I come to the United States, I see that the Jaipur Literature Festival brand has done very well here. He's organized it in Denver, Colorado. I believe you're starting in San Francisco. And of course, the Houston event is something that is started last year, and I'm sure is going to be a phenomenon that is here to stay. And I was very impressed with the term building multicultural bridges of understanding that the MC just mentioned to us. This is, I think, what our effort is all about. And as I say this, I'm reminded about the fact that Dr. Anupam Ray is completing his term of office here, is going to leave us in a couple of months. Of course, we are trying to keep him for as long as possible. But he's clearly created a tremendous impact here, what he has done is really contributed to building those multicultural bridges of understanding between India and the city of Houston, the state of Texas, and the area that he handles in this part of the United States. And it's for me, as the ambassador, a great, I would say, pleasure to see someone who has made so many friends, created so many understandings, brought people together in a way that very few people can do. We were just at the Houston Chronicle, where we talked about the fact that Houston is a major hub and entrepot of energy, of high tech, but also a center that unites us in many ways through people. And that is, I think, what Dr. Anupam Ray has done. And the Jaipur Literature Festival is a manifestation of that. So in next week, we will have a major event. The Prime Minister of India will be here. He will be addressing a record gathering of 50,000 people in the city of Houston. I think a lot of the tribute goes to the Indian American community in Houston for welcoming him here, for organizing the logistics and the details of a visit of that magnitude. And I'm sure this visit will be an enormous success, an enormous landmark in the ever closer ties between India and the United States of America. So I wish the festival all success, and I'm very happy to see some of the authors that we know well. William Dalrymple, Makran Paranjpe, who was also with us in college, who is also one of the authors, is going to speak here. Chitra Banerjee, of course, and many others who are very renowned authors, which I'm sure all of you are looking forward to hear. So all the very best. Namaskar and good evening.
May I ask Festival Co-Director William Dalrymple to come up and present Harsh with a small token of our appreciation. Harsh, come to the... Thank you so much, Ambassador Shringla. Oh, photograph. I think they want a photograph with both of you. Last year, when I told William to come to Houston for JLF, he said, "Houston? Who goes to Houston?" So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Festival Co-Director to say a few words about the program.
In this age of fake news, let me tell you the true story. I had come to Houston last year to celebrate the extraordinary exhibition of Jodhpur, which was on in your museum, which I thought was one of the most beautifully mounted and exquisitely curated shows of Indian art I'd seen anywhere outside India, and put shows everywhere else in the world to shame. And coming back, I bumped into a rather familiar face in the airport lounge. What are you doing here, Sanjoy? Sanjoy is scheming as usual with new festivals. Anyway, I'm very glad it's all happened. When I first came to the Asian Society in Houston in, I think, 2002, a very modest affair in one room, rented room in a hotel, and how amazing to see this extraordinary auditorium. It's again amazing what can happen with the Indian community abroad when they put their minds to something. Anything is possible, and we've seen that obviously in Jaipur from very humble beginnings in growing out of an existing festival that the amazing Faith and John Singh set up to celebrate the culture of Rajasthan and Jaipur, the Jaipur Virasat Festival. What was originally just one wing of that festival grew into this extraordinary tale, the Jaipur Literature Festival. Now, the largest literary festival in the world. The size at its height of Woodstock and Glastonbury combined, 500,000 people, 500,000 footfalls. And thanks to Sanjoy and his team's extraordinary energy, it's expanding like some Puranic creature to like some great snake engulfing the globe and churning it. We're producing this wonderful stories out of the ocean depths. I think this is terrible. What's happened with jet lag? Make a note never to give a speech without a good night's sleep before. Anyway, welcome, and we're very much looking forward to tomorrow. We've got an extraordinary lineup. All sorts of authors that we long to present have accepted our invitation. We never quite know who's going to say yes, and I think it's one of our very best programs outside Jaipur itself. So thank you for having us, and I hope you enjoy the next few days. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming the person who really was responsible for bringing this festival here, Consul General of India, Dr. Anupam Ray.
Thank you, Sanjoy. I must begin by saying that I'm sorry. Last year when I spoke here, I said I wouldn't be back next year. Well, I'm back. The second thing that I would like to say is that I had to take, we are queer creatures, diplomats, and well, maybe not queer, but not a politically correct term to use. We are strange creatures, diplomats and stranger creatures as civil servants. Normally, when we are there, and I have many of my, we actually have the Consul General of India in Chicago here, 2 ministers from the Embassy of India in Washington here, several of my colleagues. Normally the ambassador speaks, and he's the only person who speaks. And the rest of us then struggle over seniority and determine who gets to speak when he is not there. We fight over the spoils. But I chose to break protocol today and speak even when ambassador is here, because this is something I feel very strongly about. The Jaipur Literary Festival in Houston. I would also like to say that I was pleasantly surprised that one of the things that this festival has produced, obviously, is a reunion between 3 people who went to college together, my ambassador Sanjoy Roy and Makaran Paranjape. So one of the unexpected byproducts of this festival. I'm glad to see all of you here. Given the fact that you're competing with Howdy Modi, this is a fairly good show. A lot of you here, and this is a good crowd, and I'm sure it's going to do very well. I'd like to thank the sponsors, each one of you who made this possible, and I'd like to encourage you to, one of the things that I learned in Texas is to think big. Get on with it, get it done, and I'd like to encourage you to think big about your sponsorships next year. I'm not going to be around, I assure you, for the next year's festival, but I encourage you to do more about it. Sanjoy Rai said that he said that he gave me an undue share of credit for bringing it here. I'd like to thank Sanjoy, Suraj, and their team for sort of keeping the faith. They came in here cold, and they had no idea of what it was. And they had enough faith in the sponsors and the city and in their product to not only do it the first time, to come back the second time and promise to do it in future. I think they are the people who actually deserve a hand. It's actually an extraordinary privilege, I feel, to work with such dedicated and entrepreneurial Indians. In some ways, they represent the best of India. When I was coming in here, I met my good friend Arshad. Arshad, you must think big about your sponsorship like Texas next year. Arshad said that, how many times are you going to say goodbye? I told him that I'm going to be leaving soon. Well, I assure you, I won't be here next year again. Thank you, enjoy yourself, and have a good time at the festival. And Sanjoy, I wish you many, many successful JLFs in Houston. Thank you.